So I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of the EMEA Summit app here. So first, let's start with the app UI. So this is the starting page, the landing page for the app, and you can read about the event. You have a flyout menu here to the left, and here you can drill into information about speakers, the presenters. As you can see here, you have information about the partners, the sponsors, and the venue overall, sessions, and so on. So in this scenario, you can see I have a very long menu because I logged in as a VIP user. So if I go back to my account here, I can actually log out. And so let's log out from the VIP user account or the exec user account, go back to the menu, and you can see that my menu is much shorter. I have fewer options here, logged in as a standard user. So we have a venue map connected to Google Maps here, and we can also go to the venue floor plan. And that is a more detailed information about specific venue, the different floor plans. I will go back to this. That's the reason I show it, because I will show you the configuration of this a little bit later here. So that's very quick here. We also have social sharing integrated. So if we go back to the menu, you can see the social feed here, and that is the Twitter account that is connected into the app here. So this is very, very quick about the app UI. So let's go to the configuration and the full kind of environment here, right? So what I'm using here is AM running in the cloud, Experience Manager running in the cloud, using managed services. And we have one production instance and one stage instance. So what I will be using here in my example is show you the stage instance. So let's log in to the stage instance here of AM. I go to the mobile section, and this is basically where you can find everything, the entire structure of the app here. So first you have different panels here. This is kind of the dashboard of the app configuration. So you have the first up to the left is a configuration panel. Down here you have a manage content panel, which actually is very important for the app. You will have the full structure of the content there. Below there you have content release panel. This is basically where you stack up all your changes that your team have done in the file before you push it live to the specific app. And down in the bottom you have the cloud services panel. This is basically where you connect your app to your marketing cloud services. So let's start with the configuration panel. So I go in and click Edit in the configuration panel. This is basically where you name it. You have an advanced tab here, and this is basically a hybrid app, right? So we are pointing to a hybrid HTML starting page here. This is a start screen of the app here. Because this is an event app, we're also connected to the Tailor-Banned event system, and we're pulling XML data feed from the event system about specific sessions and so on. And this is where all this is configured. In the final app configuration panel, this is actually where we decide how often the app should look for updates. In this case, it's every third minute, 180 seconds. And we're also checking for timeout for the Wi-Fi connection. And we can pull up a message if it's a bad Wi-Fi connection, for example. Most important is the manage content panel here. So let's go back here. This is an English only app, so therefore we just have one language layer here. But obviously you can have different language layers, and this can be completely managed by AM here, all the localization or translations. So if I drill in here to the English version, you have one configuration section and one welcome page. So let's go to the welcome page. And when I click on the welcome page here, you will be able to see the full structure of this app. So here you can see everything you actually could see in the menu. You have delegates, you have logins, you have the section about my account, and the entire structure of the app is actually here in the cloud service from AM here. So I can go, for example, let's go to the schedule, and then you can see all the sessions that actually is happening during these 2 days of the event here on the schedule. If I go back to the welcome page, let's go to the page named Wi-Fi connection. You have it there. I click, instead of clicking drill down to it, I click edit, and then it will open inside AEM in the edit mode, and I can actually share my phone as well. So let's share my iPhone screen, and you can follow along if they have the app installed. But here you can basically, if you go down in the bottom on the flyout menu, you see the Wi-Fi section there. So if I go on my phone screen, if I go to the Wi-Fi section, you see it's identical here. So everything is designed and created inside AEM, in the hosted cloud service of AEM. And I have all the standard HTML authoring tools here to kind of create this. You have all the text tools. And you can also create hyperlinks here, right? So I can select a text section, and I can create a hyperlink, as you can see effectively inside the app UI there. So if I go to the flyout menu, you can add components. So this is a very template-driven type of workflow for a mobile app, right? So I can create components, I can create a template, and I can add components to that template. So for example, I can add a new image component, and then I can go to assets. I can go into my DAM and AEM assets folder. I can see I want to search for specific images in this folder. So let's do a search here. FAQ, and see if we can find any image related to that. And this is a JPEG file, and I can drag that JPEG file into this new component. So this is basically how you build up the entire structure here. If I go to preview mode in AEM, you can actually see the same flyout menu that we see on the app here. Okay, so let's go to the content release panel back in the dashboard. And here, as I mentioned, you can see the full stack of all changes that your team have made here. So you can obviously have various team members and external partners working on the same app and the same experience here. You can see a number of files that have been changed during the last kind of work. So if I click on this number, you can see a list of everything that's been changed. And you can review this before you push it live to the specific app. So again, we're working on the stage environment here, right? And then when you're done and you think it's a good time to push this update, you can do that. Okay, so let's switch over to the analytics, mobile marketing part. This is also a cloud service. So what I'm doing now is actually pulling the live data directly into my my mobile marketing account. So the mobile core services SDK is fully integrated here, so we can pull this data. So what you see here is what we call the KPIs, or the key performance indicators for this app. You can see exactly how it's behave, what's happening. I can kind of custom design this view. So in this case, I went through crashes, average session length, total session length, and so on. And this is basically when I go into the configuration, this is where you can define this. So here you can see my key matrices I collecting here, launches, first launches, and so on. I've enabled local reports, so I can do geofencing. This is very, very useful if you want to kind of track from where people download the app or from where people is using the app, basically. Down here, I've uploaded my the corporate Adobe corporate enterprise certificates to do push messaging and notification to the app. So I will show that in the absolute end of this session. So here you have user and sessions. You can see exactly when, what day the app is getting used here, and you can do filtering and sorting here to kind of completely customize what you measure. So this is the filtering section. You have a funnel report, and you also have a view path report. And this is actually show you from what screen customers are using this app. They go from one screen to another, so you can completely follow how they navigate into the app here. Here you have the technology tracking, so you can see exactly from what kind of devices, operating system, or carriers they're using this. You also have acquisition tracking, so this is pretty cool if you want to have a different campaigns. You have campaigns online on your website to download the app, or you have QR codes to download the app. You can actually track and see exactly from where people got information and actually downloaded the app. So the last section here is messaging. So there's two type of messaging services you can provide. You have in-app messaging, require the app to be in front and started, and you also have operating system push messaging here. This is a two type of messaging service. In in-app message, you can create a full HTML experience, and you can trigger that message based on something that happened or the user are doing inside the app. But let's go and dive into the push notification services. So it's actually a three-step process. You create the audience experience, and then you schedule the push. So the first thing I do here is to set the audience. So I have to select a custom kind of a custom segment here for who should actually receive this push. So let's go for user type equal to VIP users or exec users. Basically the type I was logged in as before. So that will give me an estimated of 62 people here. I can narrow this down by changing, during the last days. I can change that from 30 days down to just a few days, the last 3 days, for example, and that would narrow down my target group for this message. If I want to target everyone, I can just add a new segment here and say, let's send this push notification to operating system type equal to, and then go for Android and iOS. This app is not developed for Windows, so if I select Android and Apple OS, I basically we're targeting everyone that is have been downloading this app. The second step is basically the experience. So what I'm doing here is to first name the message, and this is for my own tracking, nothing that no one will see except for you. So this is a kind of a coffee break message. And when I named it, after I named it, I go down to the content, and this is where I actually type the message here. So coffee break, coffee will be served in the lobby. And while I type, you can actually see here up in the corner how this will look like in the final message. For this particular example, I will use the advanced options. So we'll click on advanced option, and I will actually add a payload data. So this is a small JSON snippet, and I just basically have prepared this. So I just copy and paste in the payload data. I give it a title. So I type basically coffee break, and as you can see here, we can do deep linking. So the reason for me to using advanced option is because you can do specific features here. So I can do deep linking from the push message directly into the app. So what I can say here is, for example, see for coffee break, see the floor plan, the floor map for where the coffee will be served. Well, and then I just need to paste in the URL to this. So the easiest way to do that is basically to go back to AM and dive into the venue map. And that is basically what I showed you in the beginning of this session, was the venue map here. So let's go to the venue map, open that venue map, but now I open it in the environment. And I copy the URL, as you can see up here. Copy parts of the URL directly from the browser, and I go back to my payload and I paste that directly in to the payload data. And I'm done. So basically what happened here, when someone received, or when basically everyone received this push message about the coffee break, when they tap on it, it will actually open the venue map inside the app to show them where it's served. So the last thing to do here is basically to schedule this push. So this is scheduled to be released 2:30 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So that would be, for example, 1:30 p.m. UK time. And the last thing you do is basically to click Save and Scheduled. And that's all. Thank you for watching.